All right, welcome to another episode of NFL Outdated Cover 2 series. This episode is a special one. We're doing the Raiders and the Lions, and I am joined by Rippeam and Seventh Letter from Las Vegas to Detroit Radio Podcast. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Thanks for having us.
Anytime we can talk about football is a great day, and definitely appreciate you guys coming on. And I guess my first question is, Raiders and the Lions, not necessarily, a pair that you would think about. So how did you guys start your podcast? And I mean, do you guys know each other offline then?
Well, I can me and Rippy have known each other for over 20 years, so we've been friends forever. We just kind of got back connected because he moved. We live in different states now, but he gave me this idea about a podcast, and I was like, you know what, that sounds like fun. So I started my podcast maybe January, and since then, he been coming up with so many ideas for us, and this is his new idea, and I'm with it, man, because he always got the wheels are always turning in that guy's head. So
Right. And for me, like I said, I would say about 20, 22, 23 years we've known each other, and within the last 15 years, I moved from the state that we were in, and professional photographer, professional videographer. And I just decided that, this is probably the lane that we need to be in. Like I said, the idea is just continue to flow. And we're diehard fans. We speak football every day. If we're not talking about our personal lives, we're squeezing football in there. So it was just a no-brainer for us to just put this thing together and start our own. So
Absolutely.
That's how we began on that one.
And when was the last time that the Lions and the Raiders actually faced each other? I'm trying to think.
Oh
man,
I couldn't even tell you that one.
I know we won. I know that. I do remember when. No. Actually, we lost.
I'll save my Lions jokes for later.
Yeah, Patricia. We lost to them with Patricia.
He was a mess.
One of many.
So as you're kind of looking that up, obviously you look at the Raiders and you look at the Lions, and as an NFC North podcaster, I see a lot of positives in the Lions, and we'll kind of get to that a little bit later. But obviously, there's so much more hype on the Raiders this year,
Right.
And you talked about moving states.
Did I lose somebody?
I think it's.
Did I lose somebody? I can't hear you.
Could you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear him. Did I lose him?
I don't know. It's probably his.
Okay.
Devontae Adams also did move.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is his.
Maybe we can text him and tell him that his live is kind of delayed.
Yeah. Did we lose you?
Tell him his live is delayed.
Are you there?
All right, you guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here. Sorry about that.
That was my internet. Love that.
Okay.
But talk about a restart. The Raiders really kind of getting there. I mean, there's a lot of expectation with them this year, and you have Devontae Adams, moving states and going to the Raiders.
Right.
Did they give up too much for him?
I'm sorry, you said did they give up what?
Too much for him. Did the Raiders give up too much?
I don't think we did. I think from perspective of what we needed, from perspective of what we suffered from, I think Carr is in a position. It's a make or break year for him, and it's just my opinion. And I definitely want to put him in a position where he has no excuses. So I think whatever it takes to get that type of caliber of receiver, we did the right thing. And when you think about could we have used the first, we probably could have used the first. We probably could have used the second. But then you think about the team in its current state. I think we're in a perfect position. We didn't. The offensive line needs to improve, and we're doing I think we're stable, right? We can pick up some good draft picks in the third round. So it worked out. It works itself out. He's a top number one without a shot of a doubt. So it puts the pressure on Carr to have to perform. So did we give up too much? No, I don't think so. I
And
definitely don't think so.
even with that, he really wanted to be there with Derek Carr, didn't he?
Right. Uh, for my opinion with Carr, I think his ball is too, I want to say loopy, right? He knows how to get the ball out, right? But for me, I think he needs to do a better job. But if there's anybody who can really make his mistakes look good, is someone that he grew up with, someone that he played with before, and what a perfect pick, for his type of ball. And this, again, just my opinion, not to say everyone else has their own, but for certain, I think this is the perfect opportunity for him to silence the critics.
Well, yeah, and within the Raiders fan base, I mean, Derek Carr's really been a lightning rod. I mean, he even talked about his roller coaster play. I think after one of the games last year, and I mean, have you always been on the Derek Carr kind of train, or what are your thoughts on him as the guy?
I certainly was on the train before he got hurt. I think his gameplay kind of. I think he really never got over the injury, and he's a little skittish to me in some cases. But I'm a Raiders fan first, So before Derek Carr came on the team, I was a diehard Raiders fan. So it's not like I'm not a fan of Derek Carr. I definitely support my quarterback, but at the same time, I want the best for us. So if he's the guy, for sure, I'm on his side, and we'll see. Like I said, we'll see. This is a perfect opportunity for him to silence the critics, and I'll take the blame of being one of them. So we'll see what happens.
Seventh letter, yeah. You look like you want to say something. Are you one of the critics?
No. I say he suffers from some of the things that people in Michigan suffer from with Matthew Stafford. Like you don't want to ever be without a quarterback. You understand?
Yeah. Hey, I'm a Bears fan. I know that.
Exactly. So we definitely see. I kind of knew what we had with Stafford. Like I knew that they never gave him weapons. All right, they never done anything like trading half the first round away for a number one receiver after Calvin Johnson left. They replaced Calvin Johnson with Marvin Jones. Nothing against Marvin Jones, but we got to draft. We have to put some type of speed around a quarterback like Stafford, who has a rocket. You don't turn him into an intermediate quarterback, which probably really, really aided his ability to, win those playoff games this year. Nicole, all the short pass and the no look stuff that he learned under Caldwell. Like this is things he had to go through. But I think he would still be in Detroit if we ever gave him some weapons, yo. We only really truly went after weapons for this man once in 2013 when we got Golden Tate and we had Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson and we had that number one, number two defense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We had the wrong coordinated. Yep. Never all came together for us. So I don't know. I think Derek Carr is good. I think the loss of Henry Ruggs, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think the Waller injury, he really didn't have much to play with. He just got Deshaun Jackson, like in the middle of the season. And right. I think he's very overrated. I mean, he's fast, but he never won anywhere he was at either. So,
right.
Derek Carr, when you lose him, trust me, you're going to miss him. You're going to miss him. So
I mean, it's not that I don't miss him. I was just watching his previews, his highlights today. His accuracy is second to none to me. He's pretty good with accuracy. I think if there's a knock on him, for me, it's just he doesn't get the ball out quick enough in some cases. And last season, he just took too long to start. First quarter, we're down by the second quarter, we're down by, and then third and fourth quarter he balls out. I get it, right? But I need you to start fresh, start right on the first quarter. If we could have done that, there's so many games that we won by starting late, but if we would have started sooner, we wouldn't have had that issue, So I love his gameplay, but there's still that part of me who feels as though there's he needs to improve in some ways, in some cases.
Yeah,
So
you talk about kind of improvement too, and the how Hunter Renfrow came on. I mean, that really is going to help the offense going into next year. And obviously, that's
absolutely.
gonna expectations to go even more so. Like, what makes Hunter Renfrow good? I mean, did Derek Carr make him good, or I mean,
Hunter Renfrow, I think, man, he's awesome. I think his being able to just elusive. He's very elusive. His technique is insane.
Yeah, but
I
he
think
only
he's,
speed
you know,
though.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's only 90 speed. He needs some speed.
Listen,
he get open though.
His quickness, he knows how to get open. His hands is immaculate. A lot of people say we what I would say is we have the best wide receiver in the game, and now we have Devontae Adams. That's my take on it. Hey, listen, I'm
love it.
So I think Hunter Renfrow is amazing, man. And this
I
year,
thought you meant Darren Waller.
Darren Waller's pretty good too. I'm really happy for Darren Waller. But Hunter Renfrow for me is our star. Is our star player on offense.
Devontae Adams run them routes, man. I will never get that.
If you watch him, he's actually sitting and learning from Hunter Renfrow, which is amazing. So I think that duo is gonna be amazing. Watch out this year, man. This year is gonna be something.
No, y'all gonna be good. Y'all definitely gonna be good.
Well, I actually went back and forth with I don't know if it must have been a Raiders guy, but he came on a fellow Twitter friend of mine on Twitter and was like, "Oh, the Raiders are the favorite to get to the Super Bowl," and I said, "I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're a favorite. I think they're going to be great, but I mean, it's going to be or good at least, but it's going to be tough even getting out of that division, let alone the AFC, right?"
Right. So I wouldn't say we're going to be Super Bowl bound, but I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised. We're definitely going to do some things. We're going to be better. We're going to have a better record than we had last year for sure.
I mean, yeah, you look at kind of the additions on defense. I mean, that helps as well, right?
Right. Absolutely. Chandler Jones is amazing. Max Crosby, I was a fan of his. Oh my goodness, man! I was a fan of his when he first came out. You pair him with someone who can get at the quarterback just as well. Not to take away from Unique. He's a little bit undersized, but Chandler Jones is perfect. And you get them two together, you get the added pieces with Bilal and the other guy with who we had in the back, backing him up with Hankins. If we get Hankins right, he can get healthy, and McCoy can get healthy. We're going to dominate, bro. Defense is going to dominate with the speed that we have in the back, in the middle of the field. Minus Perriman, he's not as fast as he should be, but we're going to dominate, bro. I really feel like we're going to dominate.
Well, you talk about health too, and defense. I mean, you're going to be solid. It's going to be improving. I wonder about the health of Josh Jacobs, and obviously everyone's talking about the wide receivers and stuff. But if he's not healthy, if you don't have a solid running game, that's going to hurt. I mean, the receivers too. I mean, and can Jacobs really even be that workhorse back?
I think he can. He's been that when he first came in. Over 1,000 yards. I think the first 2 seasons. So I certainly think he has the potential. It's more or less the effort. He has to put more of the effort, and we just have to get a better line. That's where I think we're going to succeed. If we can draft well, and how can you do that in the third? But there will be some pieces in the draft when we pick in which that would solidify that line. So if we can get that line solidified, get a little bit better in it. And its protection and its run blocking with the draft, then he's definitely going to be a workhorse. But like I said, we have 2 additions who I think can take the load off. With Amir, I think he's from Amir, and then the other guy from the Patriots.
Yeah, that's my
I
son.
think we're gonna be all right. So
That's my son.
does he
Amir
need to be a
Abdullah is my
workhorse? I don't think he needs to be a workhorse, but he certainly needs to
definitely not
lead
as silly
us. You
as
know,
you're probably thinking he is. Not no more. After the injury, he was never the same again. He is not what you think he is. He's okay. He's a kick returner, maybe. You might can throw it out, dump it out to him, but his hands are small. He fumbles a lot. Temper your expectations with Amir Abdullah. I love him. I loved him. But once they started smacking that ball out of his hand every time he threw the ball, I was good.
So yeah, weird to kind of, you're counting on a cast off from the Lions, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's where that comes from. But like I said, our backfield is is pretty deep. If we can keep Rashard, I think we'll be good.
I think honestly, with the addition of Adams, I think that'll make the defenses back up off the line of scrimmage a little bit.
Right.
Should play a little
because
bit.
you're going to have to double you're going to have to double two people. You got to double Waller. You're going to have to double Adams, and then you're almost taking for granted that Hunter Renfrow is as small as he is. And you say, "Nah, I'll put one person on him." Try to put one person on Hunter Renfrow.
Good on third down.
So that right
that's where you need him, right?
Help out Josh Jacobs.
Well, you talk about kind of some of the needs, and do you have any like targets in the draft that you would like the Raiders to take?
I do. I have quite a few. If they're available, I think Tyler Smith from Tulsa, the tackle, and he has about a second or third round grade. I'm not shooting for anybody who's going to be available in the first or second round, obviously, because we don't have that. But Daniel Falili, I think he's about 6'9", 380. He's from Minnesota. I'm looking at him. Kenyon Green, Texas A&M, 6'4", 324. He's a guard. I'm looking at him. So I have about 5 guards that I hope, if they fall, which pretty much they have a second or third round grade, that would really help us. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. And talking about seeing what happens, my question then as an outsider is, do you trust Josh McDaniels to get it right this time?
I do. I think based off of what he's done thus far, he's shown me that he's willing. He wants to win. Based off of him giving up those 2-round picks, like you said earlier, was it enough, or did we give up too much? I don't think he did. With the coach who's willing to, he's showing it before we even start that he's willing to call the plays that we need to need to be called, or needs to be called to make the decision that needs to be made. And if he can take this momentum into the game, into the season, I think he will be, he's the one. And I do trust him based off of what he's done thus far. His past, he's with New England. So was it really him winning all those games? I can't say that. But I definitely would say thus far, I trust him thus far, for sure.
Patriot assistant coaches never make good head coaches. I don't know why people keep doing this.
Yep.
Number one, he's not a football player. He doesn't have the same thing. Mike Vrabel didn't come. He's a Patriot, but he didn't come from the Patriots.
Correct.
Probably one of the, a misconception for a lot of people. He didn't come from the Patriots. Every Patriot coach, every last one, none of them. I think Mangini did a little bit in the beginning. I'm trying to think somebody else, but they just don't. It's Belichick, yo.
It's
Belichick. It's the Patriots. It's the Patriots. It's everything. Josh Daniels got caught cheating before. He shouldn't even have a job.
Well, I guess my question is, you're kind of saying that. I mean, are there any coaches in the NFL that you would take Josh McDaniels over? I mean, I'll start. I would take Josh McDaniels over Mike McCarthy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's a front runner. He's a quarterback made him. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, so and there has to be hope, obviously, with the Raiders, and just kind of as an outsider, obviously, with Gruden, from hearing what I thought, the cupboard was really bare. He wasn't really as good as he talked himself into being, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
He picked Tim Tebow. to start in the NFL. Okay,
Right.
all right. So I mean, he might have learned from that. So I guess he doesn't have. He had 2 first-round picks that year. Am I correct?
He did.
I think so. When he was the Broncos, I think he had 2 first-round picks. I forget who they picked first, but I know they picked Tebow later. He picked Tim Tebow in the first round. Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Yeah.
The
I
gamer.
think it was just the hype, man. He got
Hit him
sucked into
really
the hype.
well. You know, they hit Tim Tebow really well, but it's just
But just to pick him and to take him as far as the guy shouldn't be a quarterback. But okay, cool, you take him. He has to be coached up somehow to get to that point. The team had to rally around whoever he was, whatever position he should have been,
that
to
defense.
be the head, the quarterback to get to the point that he got to. I think you got to give Josh credit. You got to give him some credit on that. He picked a bum, right? Let's just call him that. But yet he was able to lead with a winning, sort of a winning record.
It blows my mind, some of these executives, like how much they make and how dumb they are at some of these picks. I mean, as a Bears fan, thankfully now I think we've got some leadership in there that knows football. I mean, they were letting the money guy and the owners try to make decisions. It was horrible, and the Lions, made horrible decisions. And, obviously we can kind of, transition into kind of talking about them. But, when you talk about some of these owners and some of these general managers, it blows my mind, some of the decisions they make.
Right.
Oh, man.
Right.
You would think. I mean, I know it's probably a lot that goes into like I gotta go back to 2005. I think it was 2005 when we selected Mike Williams, and it was so dumb, like so dumb. It was so many other things we needed. It was so many things that we needed. I did not understand. Like Roy Williams, I was okay with. Charles Rogers, I was okay with. I mean, but we did not need Mike Williams. Joey Harrington. They literally only drafted him because he was on the cover of NCAA. Like, I don't know.
Right.
The coach didn't like him. I think they need to take into the consideration the coach and what he wants to do. They didn't do that. Like, it's you would think, man. You would think you would pick up who was after Mike Williams? Who came after Mike Williams? Wasn't it like What was the guy? Who was the pass rusher for the Cowboys? 94.
You have to think about it. Yeah, I mean, it was 2 or 3 straight drafts. They went wide receiver, right? It was nuts.
Three straight. Then we went Calvin Johnson 2 years after Mike Williams. Stafford, and then no, was it Stafford the second year? No, it wasn't Stafford. I think it was like I don't even want to think about it. We was 0 and 16 when we drafted Stafford. Yeah.
Well, kind of, thinking, to the team this year. Obviously, the news today with the Lions being on Hard Knocks. I mean,
finally.
So, are you excited for this as a Lions fan for them to be on Hard Knocks?
Let me get my Kool-Aid.
Love it.
Yes, I'm very excited. Super excited. Ecstatic. My coach is box office.
Yeah.
He's ready.
He belongs with the script for sure.
He's ready, man. He's ready.
He's a movie star for sure.
Got a whole football team full of coaches that played in the NFL, except for my we ready. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I'm like, yo, today we got the draft in 2024. Like, what is today? Detroit Day? Like, what? That's why we drinking blue juice, yo.
And that's Honolulu blue, I believe, right?
Absolutely.
So I guess, we can talk about that though, as a Bears fan on Thanksgiving, let's take you back here. We had my Bears coach, horrible, Nagy. He doesn't happen often, but he actually outcoached Dan Campbell and the whole thing about the 2 timeouts and getting the penalty. I mean, is this job too big for him? Obviously players like him, but is it too big for him, or is he going to be able to be the guy?
I think that in that situation, that was like one of those moments where you learn. I think he learned from it. I think as he took over the play calling, like he had to make some decisions after that game, and that was, I think, wasn't that like the first game he was an offensive coordinator that game? I think he took over play calling that week.
I
So
believe so. Yeah.
He's a new coach. This is his first, second, his first full time head coaching job. And I think on Thanksgiving a couple years, Jim Schwartz did something like that and threw out a flag on like a fumble when his player's knee was down, and it ended up being a touchdown. It's gonna be stuff like that happens with new coaches. I'm not trusting Campbell because he gets it. He gets it. And we finally have a coach that matches the people of Michigan. And I like him too. You know what I mean? I really didn't realize how important that was. Like, they think Jim Caldwell is the worst thing that ever happened to Detroit. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's probably one of the winners.
Marty Morningweg happened to Detroit as well. So
right. And they still talk about Caldwell on some of the chat rooms that I'm in. Like, Patricia wasn't after that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Caldwell used big words and he talked over the fan base. He didn't speak like a coach. He used to be he was a philosopher kind of. So it was it didn't fit, but Dan Campbell fits the people of Detroit. He's a tough guy. He cried, but when he cried, I felt him.
Well, and that was a really important week for the area too, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we lost to a 600-yard field goal that day. Like,
so yeah, I mean, when you look at the Lions, they really did fight, and they were in a lot of games they shouldn't have been in. I mean, like going into 2022, I mean, obviously we haven't had the draft yet. I mean, do you have any kind of expectations then overall for the team?
I do. I think it's not as I think it's not as bad, and that we're not as far. We're not that far away from being super competitive. I think with the loss of Adams and both of the top wide receivers for the Packers, and the loss of their number one pass rusher, I think we're a lot closer to the top of the division than people think, or at least win a couple more games in there. The Bears are kind of in a rebuilding stage right now. They lost their number one pass rusher. And defense is getting older. The Vikings just can't figure it out with Kirk Cousins. So, like, I think if we win a couple of divisional games, I don't know. With another good draft, I don't know.
It's interesting. With the Raiders getting Devontae Adams and talking to a lot of Packer fans, they still assume because they've got Rodgers that they've got the division, and I think that it's going to be Rodgers is really going to miss Adams. I mean, he was kind of his guy, and I think the Packers fans and the Packers are in for a rude awakening when they finish maybe second this year and have the decline, because a lot of it's, the quarterback trusting the receivers, and Rodgers has shown that he's a regular season quarterback, but he trusts.
But I think that's why that's going to benefit him, because again, just what you said, he trusts him, but then he trusts him when he's double covered. He trusts him when he's in situations in which he shouldn't.
Yeah.
So just the last game, he threw a pass to Adams when he was double covered. Meanwhile, the other guy over there was single covered. He was wide open. So you think about that. He doesn't have the person he trusts, so he's able to get the ball out to people who's open versus always going to Adams. So it may hinder him, but at the same time, you look at it now, he's getting the ball out a little bit more. He's going to shock a lot of people. I think he's going to win the division again.
He's selfish.
He's going to be a lot better this year, I think.
Who, Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, absolutely.
You crazy.
Mark my words, he's going to be a lot better this year because he doesn't have that guy he has to go to every time.
He won't. I'm telling him.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, so yeah, I mean, he won't have Devontae Adams, and a lot of it, I mean, too, like he kind of did bring along Devontae Adams when he was younger, but it does take him a long time to trust a receiver. So I mean, I'm guessing they'll probably draft at least one, if not two, wide receivers. And Rodgers has this habit of just kind of like, barking at his players, and it's a different thing than like Tom Brady does, right? Like it's kind of a negative. It is kind of more of a selfish. If he does well, it won't surprise me. I just don't know, how much the team has all around, especially who the Lions stole from the Packers as well. I talk about the Lions getting a key defensive free agent in Smith, one of the Smith brothers.
Oh, which one? Which one we get? What line? Which Smith?
Oh, so they got Zendarius Smith. And he was actually, in talking with the Packers podcaster, he was actually the leader in that defense. He was the one that was kind of in the ear hole of some of the players to kind of really push them to do better. And so, like, the Packers are going to miss him on defense, right? And him coming to the Lions, it is an interesting thing to kind of, see what the Lions are building. And what's that?
Zendarius Smith?
Zendarius Smith, yeah.
I thought he went to the. When was this?
We were focusing on Raiders news. The Lions kind of slid
in.
He
went to the Vikings. He went to the Vikings.
Oh, am I wrong on that one?
Yeah,
that's right. I got you all excited, didn't I?
Yeah,
I got you all excited.
What did that happen? I know we signed Jared Davis.
That's what it was. That's my bad. Jared Davis. So I guess, yes, you're right. He did go to the Vikings. Yes, my bad.
I like Jared Davis. I've always liked him.
But not as much as Zendarius Smith then.
I don't like any Packer, period. You know what I'm saying? Like it's possible for my body to do that. But he did used to, yes, he did. Yes. He was good for them. He's all right. I would have taken him, but I actually like any of the rookies. It's 3 pass rushers in the top of the draft that I take over him. You know what I mean?
Well, in with that, sorry, I threw you off there on that. But yeah, I mean, when you kind of look at the draft, I mean, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't pay attention to all these mock drafts because, everyone's like a prisoner of the moment. I mean, there was this one guy on, I don't know, CBS Sports that came out, was like, the Lions are going to pick Malik Willis at 2. I'm like, come on, make it stop. I mean, Malik Willis, I mean, he had a great workout and may go up draft boards, right? But the Lions aren't picking him at number 2, right?
Nah, he's giving me a lot of Jalen Hurts, and I don't want that. I don't want that as my quarterback. I mean, honestly, it's box office. You're gonna beat a lot of like the team, like they'll beat somebody like us. You understand? Like the Eagles will beat the shit out of us, but they're not going to beat a somebody that schemes for them. You know what I mean? We were young. They kicked us all around the field. It was ridiculous. Malik Willis is from a small school. He has all the tools. He can be coached up, but I just don't believe in drafting a quarterback if it's not someone like a Stafford, someone that like someone that's like has the stature. He's 6'1", I think. He's not very big. So I'm just not into it. I like how they're selling it. I think people are gonna come up to pick, try to get the second pick from us if we like we're going to draft the quarterback. So I like that idea, but I don't believe in putting quarterbacks in non-optimal situations. You know what I mean? If he's going to stand behind there, the Detroit people, they're going to want him to play. When Jared Goff throws an interception, put Malik in. Like it's and they're going to make him lose his confidence, like what the Bears did last year to that poor guy.
Fields, yeah.
So I don't want that. If I'm gonna draft a quarterback, I know they're gonna want him to play, but I want to have the defense that's gonna get him the ball back when he makes those mistakes. I don't want to put him in situations like the older Carr brother, who the Texas
Carr.
And he was a backup. Like he shouldn't have been. He was a good quarterback, but when you get sacked 300 times a year, you know what I mean? You're just not gonna have that confidence anymore. So I lose the draft. And I wouldn't be mad at Jordan Davis. I would not be mad at that. Because I saw what he did in that defense, how he was the anchor for it. He's athletic as heck. And with my defense, I believe we have to rush the passers. We got nothing but a bunch. The Vikings are loaded at receivers. The
Yep.
Bears are going to be trying to quick hit us with all these NFC West plays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we need a pass rush.
And with that, I mean, when you're looking at the draft, I mean, do you like Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau, or who do you like kind of better there?
I think for Detroit and for Dan Campbell, I know that they would probably prefer Hutchinson. I do think that Thibodeau would be more explosive as a pass rusher in that scheme. He adds more speed. I'm a speed person, but he actually, I think, how many bench press did he have? Like 25, over 25 on the bench press. If he had over 25 on the bench press, he's stout in the run too. So I need both. You know what I mean? So I need explosive. I need a guy that's gonna make explosion plays, big plays. I would prefer Thibodeau. Hutchinson's gonna get you 12 sacks consistently, got a motor. Thibodeau's gonna make those splash plays. That's what I want. I want a splash play guy. I want when the 49ers come down and score one play, then the Rams score. I need 99. I need a 99. I need somebody that's gonna blow up plays. I just need someone to blow up plays. We don't have that right now. We got a whole bunch of okay pieces that you can build, and we just need that one piece. I want a person that's going to blow up plays. I don't see that in Hutchinson. I see that in Thibodeau.
Rippy, what would you like for the Lions, kind of being as an outsider?
I think the quarterback. Well, this is good. I think they're going to go for the quarterback. I think they're going to move towards what the league is moving towards, and that's someone who can. And I think he's a good pocket passer, and then he can escape the pocket. So I think that's what they're going to go with. I really believe that's what they're going to go with. They're going to keep that position. They're not going to trade that position away. And they're going to get that quarterback
that's won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years, I think, is Mahomes. It's Nick Foles, Tom Brady,
not Aaron Rodgers,
Matthew Stafford. None of them run. None of them run.
Well, I mean, but that's my thought. They want to compete. They want to fill the seats. And that's the best pick for me, just for me, from an outsider's perspective.
I like Jared
for the Lions. That is certainly the best pick.
I like Jared Goff enough.
That's really not a statement that many people say, so I'm glad you're willing to say that, Seventh Letter.
I like him enough.
Well, that anybody likes Jared Goff.
Oh, I mean, Jared Goff.
I don't think his family likes him.
Jared Goff. You know what Jared Goff is, and sometimes you got to know what you got, right? I know what I have. Jared Goff is the guy you got to always tell him that he's doing good, and he plays okay. He's been to a Super Bowl before. Now, he didn't play particularly well in that Super Bowl, and he probably was the reason they lost. He did stink. He's the reason they lost. But he played well down the stretch last year when he got a consistent offensive coordinator that trusted him. And once coach started going, like, throw that down the field. Just throw it down there. And it was incomplete as hell. But he was like, throw it down the field. And then he started throwing it. Then we got Reynolds, and he started to throw the ball on the field. And he got better and better and better. And with DJ Chark, 4.3 speed, 6'3". Thank you. We got a whole bunch of little people out there. Somebody, push him back a little bit, give us a little respect. Let Swift go do his thing. Let Jamal Williams do his thing a little bit. I like it. I like Jared Goff. I know what he is. I just got to pat him on his back a lot. That's all. That's all.
Well, yeah, and for what he is and what the Lions are now, I mean, Goff is not going to be the quarterback if and when the Lions make the playoffs or a Super Bowl, right?
Right.
So for what he is now, that's a good thing. A bridge quarterback. But yeah, I mean, definitely having Chark, and I really like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Cephas coming back. I'm probably a little bit more higher on the Lions in our NFC North podcast than the other people are. I mean, I like some of those pieces. I even like what they're doing at running back. Obviously with Swift, but even their Craig Reynolds. I like him as well. I mean, he could be a decent
Craig
piece there
Reynolds.
as well, right?
Yeah, he played good in the preseason, and when he got in the game, he finally got a chance to play. I guess they didn't have tape on him because he went out there and was looking like a Pro Bowler. He really played well. He really played well. We got a really good offensive line. That's one thing we have. And if we ever get any type of defense and enough receivers to score, we could take people in some deep waters. We're competitive. We're not a quitting team. We went out there and competed with a whole bunch of undrafted cornerbacks. They were all undrafted. Our top two got hurt. We had the other. We just out there, the Nigerian Nightmares out there, man. They play well. You know what I'm saying? All our Nigerian cornerbacks, man. Melifonte got hurt. Akuda got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so everyone got hurt. We're out there with undrafted guys.
And they really, held some of those top offenses too. I mean, they held Lamar, right? And they held the Super Bowl champions, right? Almost beat them.
Yes.
So the pieces are there.
They're not afraid. Yeah. That's what I want.
All they're missing is a quarterback.
That's what I thought about Matthew Stafford. That's why I knew Matthew Stafford was better than everybody said he was, because he was never afraid. Whenever the lights were on, when we almost beat those Seahawks on Monday Night Football, and Calvin Johnson fumbled at the one, he got down that field, didn't he? Against the Legion of Boom. I said, "Oh, he bad. He's a bad man. I love him. I miss him, man. I wish him the best, but it's our turn now. I'm back a Lions fan 100% again, and I think we're gonna do better than expected. I do. And we're on TV now, so enjoy the show."
What do you think, Ripim?
I'm sorry, you said what?
What do you think the Lions' kind of expectations are for this year?
I think, like I said, they're going to be pretty good. I think last year was certainly a learning lesson, stepping stone for them. This year, I can see them at least winning 6 or 7 games because they've learned their lesson last year. But I think they're just always going to be the Detroit Lions if they can get that quarterback. If they get that quarterback next year, a few years, they're going to turn this thing around. But I think they're quarterback away. Just like
I got the schedule in front of me, bro.
Yeah,
I got the play. We play Green Bay twice, the Bears twice, the Vikings twice. We split in all 3 of those, and maybe might pick up 2 against the
Yeah, I guess the Vikings always find a way to lose.
Right. So that's the one we probably split. We play the Eagles. We play the Washington Commanders, whatever they are now. That's a win. Buffalo probably gonna beat the brakes off of us. The Dolphins might, they're very explosive. I'm not sure about that. We might beat them because Tua can't reach those fast receivers. So I don't know. The Seahawks, we're gonna win that one. Jacksonville Jaguars, we're gonna win that one. Packers again, Bears again, Cowboys, we might fight them. The Giants, we're gonna win that one. The Patriots might lose. The Jets will win. The Panthers, we win. I got 9, at least 9.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
In that, honestly, when you look at the division, that actually could win the division.
Thank you.
I think, when you look at this division, Packers fans are kind of assuming that they're just because they get Aaron Rodgers, they're going to run away with it. But I mean, if you look at their schedule, I mean, it's got. I mean, I haven't really looked at it, but they're going to have a tough schedule, right? As a number 1 seed in the playoffs, they're going to have they've got that game that they're going to overseas, the London game that always affects teams, right? Yes, and maybe even after the week after as well. So, or maybe they get a bye after that. I have to look at that, but so that'll be interesting. I can see the Lions kind of sneaking in there. The Bears, it really is kind of almost complete kind of tear down. We've got Fields, and we're going to try to add some pieces in the draft and see what happens. But when you look at the Lions, they could surprise people. And obviously we talked about them being on Hard Knocks. That'll be interesting to kind of see Dan Campbell, on that, stage and kind of what he really means to the team. And then also you look at, I mean, you talked about the news with the draft. It really has kind of been Detroit Detroit week, right?
For real. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to that draft.
Yeah.
Without doubt, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I will be there. I will be there.
Mm-hmm. I can see us finishing about 12-5.
Who?
The Lions?
No, the Raiders.
12-5.
I was about to ask you what you got in your cup. Some of this
Yeah.
Halloween.
I got some coffee over here, but I can definitely see us. We're gonna finish. We're gonna be pretty. We maybe win the division. So
Yeah, that's going to be it's such a tough division. You always wonder about, when you have tough divisions just kind of beating up on each other.
right.
I mean,
That's what I think.
and but I mean, you had that with the Rams this year. I mean, they came out, and I mean, that was a crazy good division. But the Rams made it happen on the back of obviously Aaron Donald.
And Matthew Stafford.
And Matthew Stafford for sure.
Matthew Stafford. So on that, I guess you had a chance to, I'm sure, see everything with those T-shirts. Were you rooting for Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl, and then did you buy one of those? What was it? Los Angeles
Detroit Rams.
Detroit Rams shirt. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I couldn't bring myself to do it because everybody was kind of making fun of me at work about it. But because I was happy, because I feel like, I was so happy for him. He's one of those people that nobody felt bad that he left. Everybody understood. The Michigan understood why Stafford left. He did not deserve to go through another rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
And I blame Patricia and I blame Bob. Yeah. Those people that's what got Calvin Johnson beefing with us. That Bob Quinn. All that Bob Quinn. Both Patriot way makes me sick.
Yeah.
It makes me sick. It never works nowhere but in New England. Nowhere else. Mm-hmm. Nowhere else. Everybody else are prima donnas trying to act like Belichick and be tough. Fat boy coming to practice late. This fat coach coming. I'm sorry, sir.
No, go ahead. It's right though. You're right.
Fat broke. This fat coach. He's coming to his own meetings 10 minutes late, trying to punish somebody. Traded away all the good players. Quandre Diggs is a Pro Bowler. He just got another contract with the Seahawks.
And they all wanted to leave there, didn't they, because of him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot going on with that.
Retires. Glover Quinn had 7 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Defense. You know what I'm saying? You made Calvin. You threatened to trade him away. That's why he retired. You gonna send me anywhere?
Yeah.
I honor what he done for the city of Detroit. I'm glad. I love the way Brad Henry, Stafford, send him somewhere where he can win and he can be happy and he won't hate us. Let's start doing things that good franchises do. Shout out to the Chiefs for not trading Hill to the Jets. Send him where he wants to go. Mm-hmm. That's what good franchises do.
Right.
And that's why good players always come back. Jared Davis would have stayed with Detroit last year, but he went for the money with the Jets. Now he's back. Now he's back. Now they gonna blitz him like we always should have. He can't cover. They kept putting him back in coverage. What are you doing? That's why we were a all right defense, because we did things with people. We did what they were good at. We didn't put people in bad situations. That's what Aaron Glenn does. That's why he interviewed for a head coaching job. You know what I'm saying? That's why one of my cornerback coaches interviewed for a defensive coordinator job in Minnesota. They do things that work with nothing. We had nobody and fought every week. We had nobody.
So I'm not sure, how old you are, but I'm a little bit older to remember kind of the Wayne Fonts days, and
my favorite.
You do? Okay. Yeah. And so it's interesting. I wonder, is Dan Campbell a lot like Wayne Fonts?
He's just my coach goes to the gym. Wayne Fonts didn't. My coach got some big ass traps. Wayne Fonts was a player's coach, and I think that resonated with the people of Michigan until he stopped winning. And and you got to go at that point, and that'll happen to Dan Campbell if this doesn't work out. But I think that with the coaching staff that he has in place, I just thought we were going in the right direction by just competing. I wasn't really mad at the Owens, and when we were Owen and everybody was laughing, I'm like, yo, that's the Ravens. They had to kick a 7,000-yard kick to beat us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In the rain in a dome too.
Yeah.
Right. In a dome, right? The Vikings are better than us. If Jared Goff had those receivers, we blow the Vikings out.
Absolutely.
It's like these people, the Rams had to really buckle down to beat us.
Yeah.
When you think about the Lions as a whole and the Raiders, I mean, obviously, the Raiders have big expectations and probably the most they've had in a while.
Right.
So I guess that would be my first question, for you, Raheem, as far as kind of the expectations of the Raiders, and then for you, Seventh Letter, as far as this being kind of maybe the most expectations the Lions have had in a while as well. So go ahead and start off, Raheem, and then we'll go back to you, Seventh Letter.
Right. So this is definitely. I think it's. I would say. Opposed to the year he's gotten hurt, this is probably the biggest year where the most expectation is based off of, like I said, based off the acquisition, and the acquisitions with Jones and Adams, and I think we're going to meet it this year. I think we're going to meet it. Are we going to? Am I predicting Super Bowl? No, but I'm certainly predicting a better product on the field, McDaniel's really utilizing Derek Carr and really putting him in positive positions. I'm looking at, like I said, I'm looking at 12-5. I'm looking at 12-5 winning the division, kicking Kansas City behind both games. Really, with Chandler Jones really getting at Russell.
Kansas City is really going to miss, Tyreek. I really think.
Bro, he won games single-handedly. You got to double cover this guy all the time, and if you do that, even if you double cover him, he's going to beat you.
I mean, don't get me wrong, but Mahomes is a magician. But he can only run around for so long. If you don't have a quick receiver like Cheetah to get open, I mean, you're going to get sacked. So
So I'm happy where we are, man. I'm really happy where we are. Like I said, I just think we need to pick up some offensive line help, and then we're going to dominate, man. We're going to dominate. That's my expectation.
I'm drinking this Honolulu Kool-Aid.
So you're drinking the Kool-Aid then. You're all on the Dan Campbell train, and I
love him.
So as far as kind of, I mean, this is probably, it's hard sometimes going into the season when the team's not going to be bad. Because like even last year with the Bears, I'm like, I didn't expect much. People were, I'm like, this is maybe 3-4 win team. This year, a lot of the hype now is people are talking, we could have the number 1 pick. And that would not bother me as a Bears fan, because then I would know where we're at. We need to keep getting top level talent to get there. Right. We're not there this year, but the Lions are starting to get there. I mean, is this kind of the most anticipated season that you've been around for a while?
I think I was. I did not want to fire Jim Caldwell, but I knew. I was excited when Patricia came, because I thought that at least we'd have a defense. And we switch into a scheme where, it seemed to be working. I hadn't yet experienced the Patriot way in Detroit yet. You know what I mean? So it was, I wasn't aware of how sucky it was, even though I've seen it. Patricia was God, you know what I mean? Everybody wanted Bob Quinn, and I just thought that They never gave Jim Caldwell the personnel to be successful, and he still was relatively successful with nothing too.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised actually that the Bears didn't hire Caldwell, and actually in our NFC North podcast we talked about that and how the Vikings guy and even our Lions guy was a little bit more worried that Caldwell would make the Bears even better than they were. So so it'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean Caldwell, he's definitely solid coach.
Yeah, especially with quarterbacks. He's really, really good with quarterbacks. It's not too many times a Jim Caldwell quarterback. I mean, other than Orlowski when Peyton Manning got hurt with the Colts. I mean, he made Flacco good.
I think it's his patience. He's really patient.
And Matthew Stafford, all those comebacks, most of them came under Caldwell.
Right.
Like he had them prepared. They used to do 2-minute drills all the time. I'll never forget that Vikings game when he went down there in 19 seconds and won it with field goal in overtime. Well, before overtime, to bring it into overtime. Stafford wouldn't be the quarterback he is today without Jim Caldwell. He's a good Peyton Manning wouldn't be that was Jim Caldwell. Teams are well coached. It's just when he has those lapses, they like for the Hail Mary, what they cheated us with Aaron Rodgers, with the face mask, the invisible face mask that they cheated us with when he got that Hail Mary. They always cheat for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They always cheat for Aaron Rodgers all the time. When the Patriots used to play the Packers, the refs didn't know who to cheat. Like, dang, who am to cheat? Shit. I'm excited about this year because I really want to see who we draft. If I'm Brad, I'm drafting a pass rush, a linebacker, and with that second round, I'm picking one because it's a lot of speed at corner or wide receiver this year. You don't have to necessarily get any of the top ones, but I need somebody to push those safeties back so we can get Swift ball. You get Swift in that open field, he is dangerous. He is dangerous. Honestly, we can get any of them because we had a whole bunch of other running backs. I forget the young fella we drafted in the 7th round last year. He even broke a couple runs. So, we got running backs because we got that offensive line. If we get somebody to keep these defensive honest, we can do something. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I just need to see what the draft looks like.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on free agency to finalize. I'm hoping we pull. We can bring in Matthews or either both Gilmore. We can bring them in. This guy, man, it's gonna be crazy. But I like the defensive coordinator Graham from the Giants. The scheme he's gonna bring in, and the players that we have already, even without those two that I mentioned, he's really gonna start making some things happen. If we can get, when Abram come back healthy, he's going to be I think he's going to be a significant piece to Graham's success.
He can't cover.
But he can't cover. But that's what I mean. If we can get Gilmore out there, is he really going to be needed to cover? I think he's a great blitzer. Graham is a blitzer with these safeties, and who but not this guy to be the best blitzer in the game. He hits hard. So my expectation is better defense. I'm expecting a better defense, and that's going to win us games. And then Carr being able to get the ball out like he needs to get out with a better offensive line. So that's where the 12-5 comes in with those changes. If we don't make those changes, we'll probably have the same type of year. Listen, man, we're gonna be great this year. I think
y'all better than the Chiefs now.
Absolutely.
Better than the Chargers and you are kind of like neck and neck, but the Chargers have I'm not a Herbert fan like that. I think he starts off strong and kind of lagged off toward the end of the season. But he's good, but I don't know. He's not he hasn't made those steps like Josh Allen did in Buffalo.
You think so, man?
Josh Allen kind of consistently gets better and better. You see him get his confidence. whatever, what's his name? D-Ball, whatever that coach name is, the offensive coordinator for the
Dayball. Yep. Brian Dayball. Yep.
When he started running him like a running back, he messed them Patriots up.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a stupid defensive call to run that. They play the sidelines with 3 timeouts against the Chiefs for them to lose, because they would have beat the brakes off the Bengals easily. Easily. They would have spread them Bengals out and beat the devil out of them, for real. It was just a stupid defensive call. That's the reason why the Buffalo Bills didn't go to the Super Bowl, because that would have been a crazy one. They would have probably beat the Rams too, because they kind of make people turn the ball over a lot.
So how far are we away from Lions Raiders Super Bowl?
We got to be on the same page.
Raiders, if they get Matthew and the other one with the Dreads, the Patriots, they better go to Super Bowl. They better go to Super Bowl.
It'll be the same expectation as the Rams.
Somebody from the AFC West better go to the Super Bowl. They better go. Because all that money, all them trades, them contracts, those first round picks, they better.
So I'm with you on Herbert in the Chargers, because here's the thing, like, yes, he's been good, but until he's actually done it, and when you even look at Derek Carr, I mean, yes, he's had his ups and downs, but he has had his ups, you know. I almost, at this point of their career, I would trust, it's weird, but I would trust Derek Carr over Justin Herbert. I mean, Herbert's got the talent, right? And he just, I don't know what, you know, as a Bears fan, you know, it was kind of tough seeing Mac leave, right?
Right.
But he was hurt, and he might be on the downside of his career. So obviously he doesn't have to be the guy with the Chargers, you know, with Bosa and everything. So defensively they're set, right? But then you have the Broncos. You know, I don't know about Russell Wilson. I mean, and obviously there are questions on their receiving. I mean, they've got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and they even had another one, Tim Patrick, I believe. What's that?
Patrick.
Yep. So and I think they even had a fourth one. I'm trying to remember.
That tight end too. Forget his name. He's fast too.
Well, yeah, and he's a young one now too, because they got rid of Noah Fant. So
Fant gone?
Yeah, they traded him.
They traded him in the trade. Yeah.
Oh wow!
But they had a younger kind of tight end that was coming on. I can't really pronounce his name. Something like that. So I mean, they've got some questions there too. And you know, is Russell Wilson really still that good? I mean, so I do, in that division, I do like the Raiders there. You know, I can talk myself, because I'm Patrick Mahomes is great, but I'm out on the Chiefs this year. I just really am.
Yeah, I think based off, and I would go with you as well, based off of Cheetah not being in it, because he was our Achilles heel. I mean, nobody can cover him. He's gone. So
Matthew's gone too, right? Defensively, Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah. But you know,
a whole bunch of shootouts in Kansas City this year, because you saw what happened with the Buffalo Bill. That Buffalo Bill game between those two guys. That's what their season is going to be next.
We exposed them We exposed them as well too.
What?
Matt got hurt that game. That's why all those points. That's why they kept on picking. We actually picked the guy that did all the touchdowns on Hughes, 21.
Yeah.
He played for us now, so a lot of cookies. There's going to be a lot of barbecue chicken in our secondary this year if he plays. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I like barbecue. It's not on the football field.
I like it on other people's team.
Yeah.
Well, you look at MVS and some of the, you know, I'm not a Juju fan. You know,
not at all, man.
They thought he was the number one receiver, man.
No way. Yeah, I mean, I before he was traded to the Chiefs, I actually sold him in Dynasty, and people are like, "What are you doing? Get rid of Juju?" I'm just like, no. I mean, he's got talent, but he's got other interests, right? You know?
Yeah.
All right, what'd he do? He hasn't done shit since his rookie year.
He had Deontay Johnson come in and you know, really, you know, supplant him, and even Claypool, and so he hasn't done as, you know, as much. So you know, tell you what, I can see the Raiders kind of get in the playoffs. Obviously, what matters is when they get to the playoffs, what are they going to do?
Right. That's the big key, and I think that's when the defense steps in because
I think
we're
so.
going to be able to match you score for score, but now we need to stop you. I think to really make that leap, we need to stop you, and with the defensive coordinator addition, and if we can get these two players, even without the two players, I think the scheme that he's going to come in here with. We're going to be able to stop him with the players that we have already. We definitely going to be able to stop him. But getting those two additional pieces, it's at that point it would be Super Bowl or bust. But I think that's the key. Our defense is the key to getting farther in the playoffs for sure.
Tell you what, Raiders Twitter is going to be nuts at the beginning of the season. I don't know how crazy Lions Twitter really gets. Usually pretty tame, I think.
Here you go. Hey, listen, man, we go crazy on Facebook, man.
We're definitely going to follow them.
Join Lions Twitter on Twitter. I'm making a Twitter page as soon as this is over.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. Yes, there's excitement, So, and hey, I definitely appreciate you guys coming on. We're gonna have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Where can everyone find you again?
They can find us at Las Vegas Detroit Radio Show on YouTube. The same goes on Instagram. Same goes on Facebook. And my personal is Mr. Ripham Radio Show. Same, that's on YouTube, Instagram as well. And my partner, Seventh Letter, same. Seventh. You can advertise yours.
You can find me on Instagram. Same OGs, BSN. I'm actually a registered nurse.
Nice.
So you can find me there. You can find me at the same handle on Facebook. I'm gonna create a Seventh Letter 79 on Twitter in 10 minutes.
Do it. We'll definitely promote it, and I appreciate you guys coming on. We're gonna do this again. So once again, it's been NFL Outdated, covered two series on the Raiders and the Lions. Thanks again, guys.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.